you sleep over there?
Get ready for Sonia, Teresa, Vanessa, Bettina. Come on. Say what? Come on. Say what? We got hot topics. We got what the fudge. So bring it home. Say what? Bring it home. Say what? You got questions. We got the answers. You wanna chit? You wanna chat? You wanna talk about this and talk about that? You're in the right place to hear the facts. Bring it home. Say what? Bring it home. Say what? The ladies are bringing the conversation. So join us or say what across the nation. Bring it home, y'all. Say what? Come on. Say what? Bring it home. Say what? Come on. Say what? Bring it home. Say what? Come on. Say what? Bring it home, y'all. Say what? Come on. Say what? Bring it home. Say
what? Welcome, y'all, on this snowy Friday. Somebody brought some snow in here and they need to fess up. Me and Snow don't get along. I am not happy. I need it to be gone. I don't care how pretty it is. I need it to be gone. Ladies, how are you doing?
I'm warm and I'm staying in.
Exactly.
I know
Same.
That's right.
Same.
I know that's right. Now, if you want to have a nice shopping day, mention Snow. All Atlantans will leave. You can have the mall to yourself.
That's right.
You could do everything that you want to do. So trust me, it is a ghost town out there. Huh?
If you can get to the malls and shopping areas.
Look, I've been put out the malls when they were like, okay, we get ready to leave. And I'm just like, but I get the whole mall of myself. But it's all good. Snow will be gone tomorrow. So we are happy for our listeners checking in with us today. It is 2025, ladies.
Yay!
Happy New Year.
Blessed New Year. Blessed New Year.
Absolutely.
Happy New Year.
Thriving in 25. Yes. Everybody thriving in 25.
I'm with it.
What were you saying?
I just was saying Happy New Year to everyone. Just happy. Glad that I can say Happy New Year in 2025.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Looking alive in 2025. What's the saying?
Come on now.
What's the saying for 2025?
I know that's right. We're going to have 5 in 2025. We're going to thrive in 2025.
Hey.
We're going to do everything in 2025. Miss Bettina, how you doing, Miss //?
Yes, I am doing absolutely well. I am not going to complain about a thing. I'm going to thrive in 2025. God willing, I'm going to be alive for all of the 2025. Okay, I'm just excited to be here. I'm just happy to be here. A lot of people didn't make it, to this year. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful to be here. I think about President Carter,
Yes.
I think about President Carter. I tell you what, that man, I watched the service and, and I recorded it because I had to go back and watch some of the speeches. So I'm glad to be here. However, I'm also, I believe I know exactly where he is. There's no doubt in my mind at 100 years old that he is up there with his Rosalind. Okay, and they are holding hands and enjoying one another. So to God be the glory.
We definitely gonna give Vanessa a chance to talk about that.
Yes,
we are definitely gonna do that. But y'all know how we do this. We cannot do this without the word of God. The bishop, we miss her. But
yes,
we have a junior bishop that is present that is able to bring the word. So what is it that thus saith the Lord?
Thus saith the Lord. I bring to you today Proverbs chapter 16 verse 1, and then we'll also do verse 9 because they both are very applicable for our topic today. So thus saith the Lord, Proverbs, and this is the New Living Translation, chapter 16 verse 1 says, we can make our own plans, but the Lord gives the right answer. We can make our own plans, but the Lord gives the right answer. And chapter 9 says, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. So when I was reading the entire chapter, those two stood out to me as we talk today on this topic of goals. Some people do resolutions And I stopped doing those many, many years ago. I just think it's setting us up for failure. I think that's what you do when you do that. Oftentimes you set these great resolutions about what you're going to do. How about you set goals? And the goals don't have to be huge, ginormous goals. They can be, last year I overspent quite a bit. This year, my goal is to not overspend. So January for me is with my daughter, we're doing a no spend January, meaning no unnecessary spending. So I'm probably going to get a call from Amazon, wondering why I haven't put an order in. I've been getting strange calls. It could be Amazon. They could just be kind of like, so right. We trying to figure out. So it's really interesting because, and I mean, that even means like going out, and it feels really good just stopping at the store. The reason I brought that up is because I remember when I was younger, the older people used to say, we plan and God laughs. And I find that to be very true. For example, I planned when I retired from the Air Force to take a trip to Africa. I retired in 2005, 2006. I was going to Africa. And in July of 2006, found out that a little person was coming. God was like, that's so cute. She gonna go to Africa. She just not going right now. I was scheduled to go get some shots in September. And in July, yeah. So I was like, no, what, So God has a sense of humor. And he has a plan, and not one of us is here by accident. We are here, or happenstance. We are here on purpose. So I want to talk about goals. Today we're going to talk about setting goals, setting realistic goals. And again, they don't have to be big. Just remember that we plan and God directs our steps, right? And we plan and God gives the answer. What say you, ladies?
Miss Vanessa, what say you?
That is so true. And as you were talking, Bettina, I was thinking of the scripture, I know the plans I have for you. We make our own, but God already has ordered our steps. He knows what we're to do, where we're to go, how we're supposed to get there. He knows everything. We do need to at least make an effort to plan out things. We do at least need to take that first step to at least have some goals. We do need to have some goals. But how we get there, and what direction we take to get there. And if those are actually the true goals, that's why you need to confront him, and not confront him, but
confer.
You need to talk to him. Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. You need to talk to him to find out if that is, something that he desires for your life. But you can plan all you want, but if it's not what he desires, then, you're just writing stuff on a piece of paper. And you may take that route that you plan. You might go the long route and figure out, okay, I'm not supposed to be over here. I'm supposed to be over here. Now you got to circle the block a few times, and then you'll end up where he wants you to be. But, it's funny. I do like that saying, because it is true. We plan and God laughs. Like, okay, well, we'll see about that. We'll see, if she'll ever come around to where it is I know she needs to be, or if she'll trust me enough to let me lead her to where she needs to be. So I love that scripture. Right. I love that scripture.
So I'm a little hard-headed, and
not surprising.
Yes, we had to learn some stuff, and I'm just being transparent. I put my stuff out there. I don't have no problem with it. So at the same time, and let's not act like these other two ladies on here ain't been hard-headed from time or two. We're just not gonna go there. But I'm just owning my stuff. But it's interesting because what I've learned later in life, I also like that saying, we plan, God laughs. But what I've discovered later in life is God wants to create with us. A lot of times when we come up with our own ideas, we left God out. So that's why he's laughing. Because like you said, Bettina, I was on my way to Africa, and then we found out there was another little one that was coming.
That's right.
And it was what it was. So as I get older, I learned to plan with him versus plan without him.
Right.
And to some that may sound challenging, but you'd be surprised when you ask some stuff. He'll answer you. He'll let you know. No, this ain't the right thing to do, or you kind of discover it ain't right. Because you hear people say a lot, this don't even feel right. Some don't feel right.
Right.
Right. You can't put your finger on it. Some don't feel right. Right. So, as long as we start learning to plan with him, things turn out far better than they do when we plan without him.
For sure.
So, thank you, Miss Bettina, for that word today.
Absolutely.
And it is apropos because we're all planning for 2025 and trying to determine what things will be. But we will get into that conversation. But Miss Vanessa, what's going on in the world?
What's going on in the world? It's 2025. I need to really seriously hunker down and think of a new name for this topic because everything's happening in the world. Everything's happening in the world. I'll just give you a little smidgen of what's going on. But, if I talked about what wasn't happening, that would probably be a 2-minute segment. But anywho.
Talk about the dolphins in the water or something. That's what's going on. But go ahead.
Something. So as Bettina mentioned earlier, former President Jimmy Carter was laid to rest. He had a public funeral yesterday in D.C. at Washington's National Cathedral. And I don't know if you all had an opportunity to see any of the services. I actually watched it. I was able to catch the afternoon service when they brought him back here to his hometown and to his home church here in Georgia, and had the private service here as well. But during the service, several people spoke. It was a very nice service they had for him there. And during that service, you had the former presidents. You had President Obama, President Clinton, President Bush, son Bush, and you had Vice President Kamala Harris and her husband, and everyone had their spouses. Donald Trump and his spouse were there. Michelle did not accompany President Obama, but it was just interesting. I know it was a funeral service, but I'm telling you, I have laughed. I really got a good chuckle just sitting there watching the dynamic of that whole group sitting together. And as each couple came in, it was just amazing to me to see, just knowing the history, just even this past year of everything that has occurred with the elections and with the, what do you call it when they have the roll call on the electors during the, I can't think of what you call it, but it was just amazing. All the speakers who spoke on behalf of Kamala Harris and just the whole dynamic. It was just the whole dynamic. I don't know if you all were able to see it, but Melania Trump sat on the end, and next to her on the inside was Donald Trump. And then President Obama came in first. After they came in, he came in and he sat next to Donald Trump. And then next to him was President and Mrs. Bush. And
they wasn't having it. Let me just say they wasn't having it.
They were not. And they weren't. And it was just amazing to watch them. And nobody.
It was like they talked before they got there.
That's what I'm thinking. Unless they did before they came on the inside, no one acknowledged him or her. And President Bush kind of tapped President Obama on the tummy as he walked past, gave him some dap on the tummy, and they sat down, didn't say anything to Trump or the Trumps. And then, of course, the Clintons came in and, she wasn't having it. So they sat next to the Bushes. And then when Kamala and her husband came in, they sat up front. They didn't say anything to anyone. But what I would love to have been was a fly on either shoulder of Donald Trump or President Obama, because I would have loved to have known what the conversation was about. I would have loved to have known what the conversation.
First of all, did you notice that it wasn't President Obama that was chatting him up? He kept leaning over, chatting him up, and he was responding. And he was just and he's like, and then of course he's leaning over to President Obama.
I sure did. Yep.
And President Obama was like, he was like,
I'm sorry. Do the lips again. Do the lips again.
He was leaning over. He would lean over. He would go. And President Obama was like, yeah. And then he's like,
you know what that sound like. You know what it sound like. Remember how it's always that new kid that comes to the school, they don't know nobody, and they leaned over and say, okay, what's this going to... Now, Obama's not rude, so he's going to respond.
Right.
He's going to respond. Right. Exactly.
But he just sits
a classy
out
man.
like a sore thumb. A sore thumb just sits out there looking ridiculous.
And I just feel like Michelle was sitting there watching and saying, see, that's why I ain't go. That's the very reason right there why I ain't go.
I felt the same thing. I said, Michelle probably said, I am not the president. I don't have to be there. I don't have to represent. He's there. He should be
She said,
there.
She probably said, I love Jimmy and Rosalind. I'm not doing that, though. That I'm not doing.
I said the exact same thing. And then, of course, when President Biden and Mrs. Biden came in, it's like nobody acknowledged him. And I said, they must have talked before they came in because nobody acknowledged him. And then when Mike Pence, even President Obama turned and talked to Mike Pence for a minute, I said, he trying to talk to Mike Pence so he can stop talking to Trump. I mean, I'm making my own conversation of what they're having. It was just amazing to watch that dynamic. And that was just so funny to me. I was eating popcorn like, man, this is like watching a movie because that was just hilarious. That was hilarious to me. I said, I know they're at a funeral service, but this was funny. That cracked me up, actually.
For sure.
I'm sorry. Make a comment. I did not get a chance to watch it. I saw it in passing in different places, like the pastor once they got back to Plains, and how he was speaking then. I didn't really get a chance to watch everything because there was a lot going on Friday. On Thursday. But I will say Donald Trump talked about Jimmy Carter, and after he had passed, he said, I figured out why he was able to do all he did. He said, now he had been talking about Jimmy Carter like a dog, okay? And he said Jimmy Carter came up to his office in New York and sat in front of him and said, listen, we got this project going on. I need money to go to such and such or whatever. And he said he felt guilty. He said, now I see how Jimmy Carter got what he wanted to get. What I call that, he called guilt, I call strength.
I call strength, and I call the Holy Spirit.
Right. He did not care who you was. I'm walking up in here. We need such and such for this. We can do all that little other stuff later. Right now, this is what I need to get done, and this is what you're going to do. And I think that he is such an amazing man to have, done all he did in the face of everything, because he was never counted as, in the history books, a notable president. But you look at all he did, and I'm just like, the history books got it wrong. They got it wrong.
Yeah, they got it real wrong. They got it real wrong. I'm waiting in 10 years for Lin-Manuel Miranda to do a play about him, like he did for Alexander Hamilton.
Absolutely, because that man was amazing. He was
it'll come.
He walked in the face of stuff, the face of it, and did what he had to do. So I think that he had an amazing life.
I'll say one more thing about it and then I'll move on, but it was so amazing to listen to his grandson, who spoke very eloquently. And I'm looking for him at some point to somehow get into politics, because I could see him in politics. I could actually see him, but he said something that was so amazing to me. He said, sure, he spent talking about President Carter. He said he spent 4 years at the governor's office and 4 years in the Oval Office, but he spent the other 96 years at home, in Georgia. He spent the other 96 years in Georgia, and the other 92, because he's 100. He spent the other 92 at home in Georgia, and that's where he made the biggest impact. That's where he made the biggest impact. The other 92 spent here in Georgia.
Well, I know that we can literally talk about him all day. We're not going to. However, I will say this. The most human thing for me was the fact that they had a rack where they was hanging them plastic bags and drying them out. When they would wash the plastic bag, he said it was nothing to walk into my grandma. Listen.
Yes.
to Papa's
Yes.
house, and they had that rack where they was washing out them plastic bags and they was drying them up. Listen, my grandmother had that, and you had to turn them chicken bags inside out and wash it thoroughly with Dawn. You had to use Dawn, and you had to let it dry because we recycling. We recycling. We not buying no more of these bags. We got listen.
Gosh. Oh my goodness.
When he said that, all I could do was bust out laugh. I said, now that makes me feel good. That brings joy to my spirit.
It does. It does. Just to know how down to earth they were, they were regular people. Yes, he was the president at one point, but he was still a regular person.
Yes,
and that
absolutely.
it was just amazing. I mean, he had a nice memorial yesterday. It was very nice. And then in other news, we talked about Donald Trump earlier. So President Biden has asked to have the flags flown half staff. Whenever a president passes, then flags are flown at half staff. It's at the discretion of the president. Well, Donald Trump expressed his frustration that the flags will be flying at half staff when he takes office later this month. And it's an action that, again, was put in place by President Biden. He wanted to honor President Carter. And it's a timeline that Trump can't do anything about, because on the 20th, when Trump gets sworn in, the flags will be flown half staff, which is funny to me when you think about it. He's coming into office and the flags are going to be flying half staff. I mean, the symbol to me is just hilarious. It is hilarious. I said, God, you do have a sense of humor. Got a sense of humor.
Could we not interpret that different, as half staff about who's coming in office? It could be it could be we're at half staff.
That's symbolic. Could it be symbolic?
And let's take it a step further between the symbolic or prophetic.
Prophetic, if you will.
Prophetic.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. God has a sense of. I'm telling you, God knows the plans. God knows the plans. I'm just saying, He knows the plans. And for Him to be getting sworn in, and the flags are being flown half staff, I tell y'all, I need some more popcorn watching this, because this is just amazing to me. It's just amazing. But Donald Trump is not pleased with it, and said that they must not like America for them to be flying the flags half staff during his inauguration. Anywho, I find that funny. So. And then last but not least, two things I want to touch on. The judge held Rudy Giuliani. He was held in contempt, for defaming the election workers. And then he went to court. He had held out on the things that he was supposed to turn over to the election workers, the Georgia election workers. He defamed, he lied, that they did what they didn't do, and then went to court, found guilty. And on Friday, a federal judge held him in contempt again for skirting an agreement not to make new false claims about the Georgia election workers. And he was ordered to pay the $146 million. And then they found him in contempt for this same manner. So it's just crazy. He was supposed to turn over a lot of things to them that he didn't do. He refused to do. And now he's going to have to pay the piper. So I'm thinking, when will he learn? Will he learn?
I need to say something. Part of a lot of the issues that we currently have with this president coming back in office and the life that he has led and things of that nature is because things are not held accountable. Now, this going on, we won this case, and I'm saying we, for people that won against, Rudy Giuliani, of you lost the case, and look how long it's taken for stuff to be able to come through and how it's been permitted to be able to be done. Because I believe a report stated that he asked the judge, can you delay this until after the inauguration, because I want to attend the inauguration. The fact that
but he also wants to ask.
He wants to ask that dude to overturn it. That's all.
Absolutely. But again, I'm saying that the issue that I have with is the the problem with accountability and the delay and all the stuff that's being done. So you cannot be surprised you get what you get. But like I said, here you are. It took forever for him to be held in contempt. He was yelling in the courtroom. But
and as far as yelling, my very last story is, so Donald Trump also was sentenced. His conviction, the judge upheld his conviction, although he won't serve any jail time. But my question is, so for the things that he has gotten away with, the things that he has not been charged for, including the hush money with Stormy Daniels, everybody who's done these same crimes, who are in jail or served time, can they file lawsuits or file some sort of something to kind of get out of jail, since he has gotten off and is not serving any jail time? Can they go to their attorneys or file something to say, hey, I did the same thing, but I'm serving time, and here he is. He did the same thing, but he didn't serve any time. He's getting nothing. Can they make some noise about that?
Let me be very clear about something. We have, that is getting ready to be the POTUS, a convicted felon. There are convicted felons who can't even get passports. Okay.
Right,
so
right.
The answer to your question is anything goes.
Yeah, that's it's a bit scary.
And no, you said a bit. I'm going to go with it's extremely scary.
But then to your point, that's what I brought up earlier about the accountability. As a country, right, this behavior has been going on for a long period of time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And here we are having this conversation, and I read in the same article, Vanessa, that the Judge Merchan, wanted to at least get his point out that you are a convicted felon, and we have just elected a convicted felon into the White House. He wanted to be able to say that, but again, at the same time, look at the period of time that things have gone awry. And now everybody's like, well, no, we've been doing this for a long period of time. So to your point,
he wanted that to be a part of his record. He wanted that to be, make sure that was a part of his record, to say, no, you're going to have this on your record. And Trump did seek the assistance from the Supreme Court to have that thrown out. But surprisingly, they refused to take it up. So that's a shocker on another shocker. But it's on his record.
He'll throw a tantrum when he get up in there. Somebody gonna hear about this.
Of course he is. But anyway, those are all the stories I have, which I told you, so much happening. And before we forget, let's not forget the wildfires and the people who are impacted in California, in LA. People who've lost their homes. It's just. So let's just keep everyone there impacted in prayer.
Yes.
Yeah, and please, just to see what happened, it reminds me of the fires that happened after the O.J. Simpson thing, but like 5 times worse.
Right.
To watch the embers that were flying with the wind and all of that, and I'm quite sure all of us know people in LA. I just didn't realize how deep this fire was.
And the mayor, I think she's going to come under fire for that as well. The mayor,
ain't no thing.
Because I believe, I think funding and things were cut for the firemen. There were things cut. There were budget cuts made where the fire department was concerned. So I think she's coming under fire for that. So we just keep everything.
They already starting.
Yeah, they've already started, and they found that they had a reservoir that has not been used in years that was empty.
Right. It was empty. Yep.
Empty.
It was empty.
So
I saw that earlier. It was empty.
Because I don't understand how a state next door to water doesn't have enough water, because they ran out of water. But then I was watching something, they said they couldn't use salt water because salt in the water would create a problem with trying to use, which I never knew. So
I didn't either. I just learned that. Yep.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to see. But yeah, praying for those people, because now starts the rebuilding, and and
Yes.
the insurance
It's in the
nightmares.
billions of dollars. The damage is in the billions. Yes.
Absolutely. So that's definitely
So
something to keep in
that's all I
mind.
have.
Yeah. Yeah. Miss Bettina, what the fudge?
Absolutely.
Miss Bettina, you still there? I'm not sure she can hear us.
I can hear you. I can hear you. There was a little technical difficulty.
And all I have to say to that is, what the fudge?
What the fudge? This is exactly the segue I needed. Yes. Yes. So we are coming into 2025 with all of the glamour and the glitz in 2025. And, things come to me. People present things to me. And sometimes all I can say is, what the fudge? So if I have to see it and can't unsee it, you're going to see it too. Talisa, if you will. Yep. Yep, that right there. Okay. So what it appears to me, initially I thought that was CeeLo Green in the middle. It is not. Okay.
Oh my
The
goodness.
outfit speaks to CeeLo Green. However, the person is not CeeLo Green, and the sidekicks there. First of all, you got real friends when you got friends that will go hard with you in this fashion. Literally in this fashion. You understand what I'm saying? And the two sidekicks appear to be twins. Isn't that something?
Wait a minute. The guy on the right in the striped suit?
Yeah.
You all remember those candies that were, they had the stripes on? I don't know what you call it.
Yes, and it had something, it was a crunchy. It was crunchy.
Crunchy. It was crunchy. I don't know what you call it, but that's what I'm reminded of when I look at that suit. I'm reminded of that cowboy piece of candy.
Yes, and I'm just the whole it. Listen, once again, I am in awe of the fact that there are actually that many friends that say, you know what, this right here is a good idea. Let's go do this. Okay, because when I think of this, I think of myself and you two. One of you two in the group is gonna say, we're not doing it. Nope.
We're not doing that.
Yeah. And even the bishop, look, and even the bishop would be like, I'm gonna go play on the beach. I'm not gonna get in this picture.
I'll holler.
Right. So that the fact that you have,
if you come in my house, Bettina, glowing like that child in the middle, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem.
No, just turn off the lights. I'll light up the way. Don't worry yourself. Don't worry yourself. So I say to you and to you, Miss Talisa and Miss Vanessa, what the fudge?
And I can't.
I don't know if glasses are intended to keep them incognito or what. They should.
They twins. The two of them is twins on the side. I can't believe it.
I feel like they are. I feel like they are. And if they're not, they should be.
I'm hoping those are Halloween costumes.
No. This was a night on the town. Yeah, we're going out this evening. It's Friday night. There's no ice on the ground. And we just on our way out. Yep.
Where were they headed? I
don't know, but the hips on the one with the colorful pants, the hips, it's something about that that's doing something different from me too. I digress. I got caught up, admittedly.
Oh my goodness.
What the fudge?
I just want them to come to somebody's house and see the old person in the house, because old people don't have no filter at that point. They just let it all out. Baby, what was you thinking?
A child.
A child, yeah, but I could just hear an old person say, "Oh, why you look like a peacock, baby? What's going on? You just is something going on there? Is that goose down? Is that goose down that you're wearing?"
You got my pressure up. You got my pressure up because of all these lights flashing at me. I can't.
No, you're messing with my vertigo.
What's happening?
Yes.
You're messing with my vertigo.
Oh gosh! Oh my gosh! That is too funny. Oh,
what the fudge?
It has to be a what the fudge with that, because that's just no. That needs to stop immediately, because you could just see it glowing
No,
at
thank
night.
you.
Can you imagine that's a New Year's thing and they get stopped by the cops and the cop? No, somebody in here drunk. Somebody in here is drunk.
Not even somebody, somebody's. It can't be one. It's got to be more than one. Got to be.
That right there would scare me. It would scare me. You hear me? Oh my gosh.
Oh, gosh.
It's just too funny. Too funny. So
Oh, my goodness.
2025. And Bettina alluded to this earlier about resolutions. So I understand today is an official day where resolutions are forgotten. Is that right, Vanessa? I think you told me about that. Is that right?
They call it Quitters Day. It's called Quitters Day.
The 10th?
And this is the day that most people, and it's for, yeah, it's the day, the second, I think it's the second Friday in January.
That's today.
It's the
Wow.
day that most people, most people, you know, who made resolutions at the beginning of the month usually end up quitting by today. So Quitters Day, you know, I guess they could have found a better name, but yeah, it's called Quitters Day. So, and that's a short attention span for most people. If you know, 2 weeks in and you're like, oh, I can't do this. I'm done. I can't do this. But yeah, they call it Quitters Day. So it's a good thing, I think, not to make resolutions, but have a goal and start small. So if you want to work out, I mean, start small. Don't say you're going to run a marathon by the end of the month. You know, I'm not going to get up to 5 miles by the end of the month. Start small. If you've never worked out a day in your life, walk to the mailbox or, you know, walk to the corner.
But is the resolution that people create, is it about them, or do you feel like it's, and this is a question to both of y'all, do you feel like it's about other people? Is the resolution about themselves, or is the resolution about other people? What do you think?
So in the past, when I've made resolutions, it was about me, you know, because I know it's a lot I need to do, and I need to change. It's a whole lot. Even now, it's a ton I need to do and need to change. But it's about me. To me, I had every desire to change and to actually do it. You want to do it, but then, you know, I say I'm not eating sugar, and then a cake commercial come on, and then you steady seeing like a Snickers commercial, a food commercial, back everywhere you turn, you seeing chocolate. You know, it's like, you know what? I had a piece of, you know, I ate today, and a piece of cake sure would be, you know, good to have. I'm going to eat me a piece of cake. You know, I can get back on my resolution next week. I'm eating me a piece of cake. And then you never do. You fall off the wagon and you never do. I would say it's about that person, and maybe they do have the best intentions starting out, but then it just drops off. And I'll say this too, and I'll let Bettina speak, but I was at the gym, and I'm a regular now at the gym. I did start that years ago, and I've been consistent with that. So that's not an issue, but it's just, you know, not funny, but it was just funny to see how packed the gym has been for like the last week, maybe. The gym has been packed, and someone actually said yesterday that it's gonna, you know, fade out and get back to normal next week because half the people we see in there won't be there next week, which, you know, it's true. It's sad, but true. A lot of them will not hold true to the resolutions that they have, you know, decided upon. So I don't know. I'd say it is truly about that person, but maybe they don't have the willpower at that time to do what they've set out. Maybe they needed to have set a smaller goal.
Miss Bettina, what say you?
So I think that's an interesting question, Talisa, that you posed, and a good question, because I agree with Vanessa that usually when I used to do resolutions many, many moons ago, it was about me. It was about me doing something better for myself. I do think when I hear people say resolutions like, oh, I'm going to lose weight, I think that is not always about them. I think it's about them saying what they think needs to be said or that they should say. It may, you know, and they may even have intentions. I just think that sometimes, and it's not just the losing weight, it's even the smoking cigarette. I'm gonna stop smoking, you know, and they say it And I feel like it's not just about them. I feel like they're saying it because their friends and family are sick of them smoking, or are always huffing and puffing about them smoking. Or, when I say that I can't fit something and your friend kind of gives you a look like, well, girl, just lose some weight. I think that sometimes it's not just about you. So for me, I am setting goals. And Vanessa used one, gave a good example with the sugar. For example, my goal is, if I don't eat something sugary. I mean, there's sugar content in almost everything that you eat, right?
Right.
If I don't grab that Snicker bar, and Snicker bars are my weakness. Vanessa, when you said it, I was like, "Ooh," she gave me a nervous twitch. It was like I almost screamed out like I had Tourette's. Sugar, sugar. You know what I'm saying? It was bad. So for me, it's, if I don't, if at the end of the day, whatever that day is, if at the end of the day, I'd be like, oh, okay, I didn't get one of those little Lindt chocolate balls today. Okay, I see what you did there. Those are the kind of goals, right? If I'm just not eating it every single day, I feel like I'm setting myself up more for success in that way. Um, and,
Mm-hmm.
and I set goals that are even easier to do is kindness. I set kindness goals. Be really kind to people. Be intentionally kind to people. One of the things that I do intentionally, if I'm walking anywhere, I try to make it a point, whatever day, if I'm outside of my house and even in the house, if I see, my mom's doing something that she normally, I say, I see you over there making sure you're getting that volume down a little low on that TV. I see you, because, she can turn that volume up on that TV, because a little hearing a little different than it used to be. But I tell her, I see you over there with the volume down, hearing some stuff. And so when I'm in the store or somewhere, I make it a point to say to somebody, excuse me, your hair is gorgeous. And I just keep on walking. And they're like, oh, thank you. And I keep going. It's not to start a conversation. If somebody has some sharp sneakers on, I'm going to say something about their sneakers. Or I just think that saying something kind to somebody, especially if it's somebody walking in the store and they're looking and their brows are furrowed and they're kind of looking through stuff. And I say, excuse me, I don't know what you did, but those sneakers you wearing are doing everything you needed to do today. And I'm just walking right on past and keeping going. Here they go. Oh, thank you. Brows are no longer furrowed. I don't want anything from you. I say it and I leave. I'm not trying to have any more conversation. I see an older gentleman that's in a suit, and I say, I see you in your suit, just in case nobody else saw you. I did. And I keep right on going, right? And they're like, well, thank you. I appreciate you. Kindness is absolutely free. And so that's one of my goals for 2025, is to do everything I can in the time that I have, in the space that I have, especially when I'm outside of my house and I run into people, to say kind things to them, to say something kind, because you don't know what happened prior to you walking up to that person, or you walking past that person. You have no idea what they came out of the house from. So my goals this year are more or less kindness goals. Now, I do have goals of things that I want to do and things that I want to accomplish. Some things I feel like I've said it out loud too many times and I'm not doing it. So I'm not going to keep saying it out loud. I'm just going to go ahead and do it and stop saying, oh, I got to finish this, or I got to finish that. And everybody like, oh yeah, did you finish? And then you feeling like, right. So there's pressure. So I'm gonna stop saying that, and I'm going to do more of the action and let the work speak for itself.
So I admire that, Bettina. I think it's great. I think the question was meant to make people kind of think a little bit, because like you said, people initially start off, it's about themselves, but a lot of times it's about other people, right? So maybe I should lose some weight, or maybe I should get up off this sugar, or, maybe I should I'm going to go back to school, or, and we've started on this show. We'll start the year off with people that'll help you get your papers straight. I'm going to get my credit together. I'm going to do such and such. There are a lot of commercials out now about having life insurance. And we're going to get life insurance, or we're going to get a will, or we're going to get something. It's just a lot. So one of the ways to kind of help us get away from the word resolution, which it sounds like, Bettina, you've been able to successfully do,
Yes.
is recognize it's never about the other person. Whether I do it or not, from January 1 to 12/31, right? If I'm still working on it, let's just bring it to something else. If somebody says, I'm working on stop cussing, I'm going to cut this cussing down, and I ain't going to say such and such or whatever, that takes some time, right?
Yes.
It is still a goal. It is still whatever. But when you make it about the other person
Right.
or persons, now you get into some trouble, because now it's
Stress.
about, right. So I told
You stressed out.
You remember how we would all tell our coworkers, girl, I'm gonna go do such such. You start changing stuff, and you ain't gonna eat, and then the office have a party, and they got the pizza sitting there, and they got such and such. You like, oh Lord, why y'all coming
And
here
they're
with this?
and they're all watching to see if you're gonna eat, and be like, I thought you said you going on a diet. I thought you said such and such and such.
Exactly.
So, because for me,
so
it's always been about me. I can't, because because it is stressful, and then you like, because I know people who will do just that. I thought you said such and such and such, and you gotta be
Right.
like, look, mind your business. So yeah, I think
absolutely.
to solve that, just start small. Start small. As I was stating earlier, you're not used to walking. Walk to the mailbox and back. Get used to walking to the mailbox, and after that, walk down to the corner. Start small. I saw this lady. This lady weighed about 400 pounds on TV. She might have been larger than that, but she never walked anywhere. And she lost a ton of weight. And she said how she did it was just that. She said she walked to her door, and then she would just walk to the door, get up and walk to the door. And then after that, she would walk to the back. She lived in an apartment. And after that, she would walk to the balcony. Outside her door was a balcony. She'd just walk to the balcony and back in the house. And then when she could do that, then she would walk down the stairs from, the balcony stairs. She'd walk one flight down the balcony stairs and back inside. Eventually, she could walk to the mailbox and back, and she would do that. And then she would go down the block. And then now the lady walks miles. She's lost weight, and she walks miles, but she lost weight. She had a small goal. She set small goals, and she set it for her.
Right.
And
I think that's why, to your point, I think that's why a lot of people fail, because they're actually setting the resolutions for other people, maybe to be impressed, have them impressed by what they're setting out to do.
Right.
And that's the challenge, because again, the question's kind of rhetorical. It's making you really kind of think about whatever. But most times people are doing it because of other people, and we're influenced by them. So maybe I should, or we gonna get such and such. I remember the year I purchased my home. I said, this year I'm purchasing a home. It ain't had nothing to do with nobody else.
Right.
I'm not judging nobody else. And that's the other thing that comes into place, especially on social media, is people, why are you judging me? Nobody's judging you. This is yours and what you want to do. So you have to make the determination to figure out, this is how I'm going to get it done. It may be somebody says, like I said, I'm going to get my money together, or I'm going to travel. You have some empty nesters that struggled with doing things for themselves.
Right.
And now we want to travel, but I never did. And the thing that you don't want more than anything is to get to be where Jimmy Carter got to. And I should have.
Right.
I should have. I don't know why I didn't, because it was about other people. It wasn't about you.
Right.
So what's some things you guys that besides what we just talked about, that would make it easier for people to make the choice to move from resolution to goals? Bettina, you said you stopped resolutions years ago. What helped you make that transition?
One of the things that helped me make the transition was I got sick of myself. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got sick and tired of, and even if I made it past, what I now learned is Quitter's Day, right? Even if I made it past that, I got sick and tired of saying I was going to do something and then looking up 4 or 5 months later and be like, and then think to myself, and I said this out loud too. People actually heard me say this, and I have not, And so I just got what my mom says, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I said, I am really setting myself up because the reality of it is nobody really is poking their finger at me except me. And so I don't have anyone that I need to impress or make feel good except me. And if I feel good about me and what I am doing, then mission accomplished, really. I get frustrated with people when they say, if you don't do something or you choose not to do something, that you're judging other people. I've had that said to me. Like, for example, I always make a joke and talk about designer purses. I have them, okay? I have Michael Kors, I have Coach. You know what I'm saying? We have them. They're cute. They're on sale. You get it, whatever. I have a running joke saying I've never seen a Michael Kors cow or a Louis Vuitton cow. They're all the same cow. So how are you paying $1,500 for this cow and you're paying $600 for this cow when I've never in any field ever seen a Louis Vuitton cow? So when I said that once, somebody said, oh, you judging people that have Louis Vuitton purses. I'm not judging them. I'm telling them that I've never seen a Louis Vuitton cow. I didn't say shame on you for having that. I didn't say take your Louis Vuitton money and go feed the homeless or the hungry. I didn't say that. I'm not going to do that with my money. And I can almost guarantee you that when God blesses me with an abundance, more money that I have, and I said when, you're probably not going to see me walking around with a bunch of $1,600 bags because that's not me. I'm walking around with something on my arm that I feel like I could feed a family, right? That's just me. It doesn't mean if you do it that you're a horrible human. It just means my spirit is not comfortable with that. I'm not judging. And when somebody says, oh, well, you judging me, because I'm not judging you. You're judging yourself. You're judging yourself.
That's the world we live in today. You can't really have an opinion about something without someone saying you judging me or you don't agree with what I'm saying or doing or whatnot. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. You can't say something opposite of what someone else might think without being accused of judging or anti something.
And you know what I've learned, Vanessa, that even not saying anything, because I've been accused of judging in my silence. Right. So I've learned sometimes you don't need to say anything. So I've learned that even when somebody's doing something and I sit and I know my face talks, I get it. I got it. I get it. My face has a full conversation sometimes, and I'm working on that. It's not a resolution. It's a goal. I'm working on it. Right. So I sometimes will sit and, if I hear a child say something that's not my child, not my grandchild, out of sorts or out of order or disrespectful to an adult, sometimes my head tilts to the side like a curious puppy, right? I don't say anything. However, the people observing or watching me is like, ooh, I bet you don't know what I'm thinking. Trust me, you don't know what I'm thinking. So don't try. So I'm learning. I'm goals. I'm trying not to make my face talk as much, or should I say the goal is to manage my speaking face. And when it is speaking loudly to people, that's intentional.
Yeah.
Okay. Miss Vanessa, what do you do to kind of move from resolutions to goals?
You know me, I don't say anything to anybody. I just do it. I'm like Bettina.
Secret girl. Secret.
That's it. I quit making resolutions years ago because I was the quitter. On today, I probably quit last week. I probably quit last Friday. I probably didn't make it to this Friday. I quit last week. That was my quitters. So I quit years ago because one, you get down on yourself a year later when you see, okay, I said I was going to do this last year, and I found I was making the same resolution. It was the same stuff. Lose weight, do this, do that. So a goal of mine this year, which I've done before. So it's an easy goal, but now I want to do it completely to the point to where one of my goals is sugar. I need to come off of sugar. The older I get, me and sugar, it's like, you know what? I've got a love-hate relationship with sugar. I got it. I love it. It loves me, but I don't need to be with you. You know, that bad boyfriend, you love him, but you know, you need to let him go on about their way. But
you got to go.
Can't let him.
Wait. The one that called you about 11:55, what you doing?
Midnight. They're making that call at midnight. And you answer.
What you doing? Wait a minute. What you wearing?
Right. And the fact that you picked up the phone, first of all.
Because you know, I'm picking up. Sugar calls me. I'm like, girl, what's happening? I'm like, what's happening? Where we going? I'm like, okay, I'm there. I'm there.
Break up with him, Vanessa. He ain't no good for you.
Ain't no good.
You know, it's like midnight. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like midnight. Your man calling you, and you know you need to have do not answer on that thing, but you answer. And it's like,
you know what you do when they call first, you look at the phone going, what he want?
You got that sister girl when you know y'all going out to get into trouble and y'all leaving the house late. On top of it, it's like, girl, I'm there. You riding shotgun someplace where you should be
right.
But that's sugar for me. So I have gotten cookbooks and I've come up with some good recipes. I mean, you'd be surprised what you can make that it doesn't have the exact taste of using refined sugar, but you know, it's out there. And that's what I've been doing. I'm doing really well at it. The older I get, there are a lot of things I can't eat, like cheese. I ate a piece of cheese. Cheese is another one I probably should break, but I'm good with cheese. Cheese just be like, girl, I told you not to eat it, but you ate it anyway, and now you suffer. So me and cheese, I'm good with cheese because cheese will tell you, I told you to leave me alone. Cheese is mean. Cheese is abusive.
Vanessa, I don't want to ever break up with cheese. I'm gonna just go in and tell the truth. I'm so bad with cheese. I'm so bad that I don't want to break up with cheese that when I go to the restaurant and I order a French onion soup where they put the cheese over it, I literally say these words. Look me in my face to the server. I want ignorant cheese. I want the cheese falling over the side. I know you're going to charge me, and I'm fine with the extra. I want to be able to cut the cheese with the knife. That's what I want. Make that cheese happen.
But those are just some things, those are goals. Those are some of the things I do. And Talisa, the short answer, I know I went around the block with this answer, but the short answer is I just do it. I don't even advertise it. Before you know it, I'm off it. And that's what's happening. If you see me losing weight, it's sugar. It's white powder, but it's the sugar that I let go. Nothing else. Just sugar.
I know that's right. Well, again, it's when goals are goals, you take short steps to kind of get there. So it could be saying, I want to pray more this year. Yeah. I want to be kinder more, like you said, Bettina. But, we put this out to our listeners. Look at some things that you have going on. Don't worry about anybody else. Make this about yourself. That means you can pace yourself. If you are praying, let's pray for Vanessa and her relationship with sugar.
Yes.
But nonetheless,
cheese.
and the cheese. But again, it's just more the less of recognizing what needs to be better. So we put that question out there to you for making resolutions. Maybe take back a little bit and say, you know what? I don't need to make a resolution. I need to make a goal for myself. You'd be surprised by 12/31 and how far you've gotten to that goal, and the accomplishment feeling that comes with it is amazing. Resolutions do not do that. Goals do that. So we challenge you to actually, think about finding ways to find healthy goals, not unhealthy. Healthy goals that'll help you and do what it is that you need to do for your life. So we love y'all. We thank you for being part of the show today. Check us out. You will find our QR code we have on our Facebook page.
Yes.
That you can click on that code. And if you happen to miss the show, you can click on that code. It'll take you right to the show you missed, and you get a chance to enjoy the Say What podcast. So we want to make sure that you get a chance to have that in your life. So we thank you. Ladies, y'all say bye as we head on out.
God bless.
Happy
Y'all
New
have
Year.
a great 2025. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Take care.
Get ready for a Teresa, Vanessa, Bettina, come on. Say what? Come on. Say what?